Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well, and we've got plenty to discuss today in Raid Shadow Legends. The Hothead deck of Fate for Raphael has just gone live, one of the exclusive Ninja Turtles. We've also got to discuss the Prism Pool event that's currently ongoing, and I might even pull an Ancient Shard to see if I can get my hands on 2 legendaries for the price of one. 0.5% chance, but I've got plenty of Ancients and I'm ready to have a small gamble on whether I can pull one out of the bag. However, just before I get into all of that, I just want to say a massive thank you for the positivity and the support I got on my previous video. It was really nice to see it get so much engagement, so many views, and way more than I was ever expecting. I never thought it would get anywhere near 1,000 views, let alone over it. And it's just really cool to see that that type of engagement exists in this community. Everyone was so supportive of a new content creator and the free-to-play journey, so I'm hoping to continue to share this all with you guys going into the future, and I really appreciate all the engagement. It's great responding to all of your comments, all your thoughts, all your feelings, all your suggestions even, and I'm happy to help out anyone that needs help if they need any team building, etc. But without further ado, let's dive into it and discuss this deck of Fate. So it's the Hothead deck of Fate, lasts for 4 days, 3 days, 22 hours left, and of course it's Dungeon Divers and Soul Stones. We already knew this, but what we didn't know was the points distributions for the Soul Stones. So you're looking at 70 points for a Mortal, 700 for an Immortal, and 3,500 for an Eternal Soul Stone. Now, talking about just Mortal Soul Stones here, we thought going in it could have ranged from 60 to 90, because that's just what we've seen on previous decks of Faiths. So 70 is kind of on the lower end, but to be expected, I think, given that this is an exclusive champion and Plarium weren't going to make it easy for anyone trying to get involved. Moving on to these Immortal Soul Stones, I think it's going to cost you around 57 to 56 to get this deck done if you don't do any Dungeon Divers, whilst if it was up at 900 it would have cost you around 42. So you can see the inflation and the difference those 200 points makes, and it's going to cost you over 500 mortals to get this done. So yes, this event will be on the expensive side, and of course you can supplement it with dungeon diving, but that's not where a majority of your points will come from, just because the conversion from points and energy and gem spent, it's just really bad. So you're best off just trying to do this with soul stones. Now my recommendation for anyone trying to complete this event that is unsure whether they will get it done is to wait until the last minute to summon your soul stones. That way you can get as much dungeon diving as you can done, and you can have an accurate measurement of whether you will be able to finish this event with the amount of soul stones you have. So do your dungeon diving, see how many points you can get, and then, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours before the event ends, see how many soul stones you have, see how many points you can get, and see if it's actually applicable. Because the last thing you want to do, pull a bunch of your soul stones off a 2x and then not even get Wrath, because there's a 50% chance that on the final deck or final card that you flip, it will contain Wrath fragments. That's just how it works. You basically need to be prepared to flip the entire deck, so I would recommend waiting. Saying that, I'm not going to complete this deck, purely for the main reason I already have Wrath. Yes, free to play, got very lucky, pulled him from a prison shard. Here he is here. I haven't yet built him. I haven't needed to build him yet. He's probably the worst turtle, I would say. He's not great. He's kind of really reliant on having good gear and having a good team setup. He's mainly an arena champion, of course, putting out his Berserk here on his A3 and with his passive. He deals a lot of damage, but he's also a bit of a glass cannon. So I just haven't had the need to build him yet. I've got limited resources, but I won't be doing this deck purely because I already had him. And knowing that, I got enough pizza points from the previous path event that we had, so I could skip this deck of Fate. So I got 320 points from the path event. It was kind of expensive. I didn't want to do it, but I didn't want to have to be gambling on trying to flip these cards from this deck of Fate in order to get these pizza points, especially when there's only 100, I believe, in this deck of Fate. So I made the decision I'll be skipping. I might get a flip or two from Dungeon Divers, but I won't be pulling any of my soul stones, which is kind of sad because I'd been saving up for this event. I've got 152 mortals, 22 immortals, 1 eternal. I got the eternal from completing normal faction wars, and then of course I can still make another 152 mortals. So I was saving up, but now I'll be waiting for a 2x basically to pull these, and it's kind of a bit sad because they could have made a big impact on my account if I had pulled them earlier, but I was saving them up for Wrath, but then I ended up pulling Wrath. So I'm happy I got Wrath, but now I've just got a bunch of soul stones sitting around with no real purpose, so I'll be waiting for a 2x for them. So yeah, overall, if you're going to do the deck of Fate, I'd recommend waiting until the very end to do your summons, but if you're not going for Wrath, I wouldn't recommend pulling any of your soul stones because there's no 2x, so you're not going to get the best value. Of course, we've also got the Prism event live, the Summon Pool right here, which the main headline champion is Shredder and Rio Bone Spear. Now, Shredder is, of course, part of the turtle collaboration. I don't think you'll be able to get him from any guaranteed events, so you're only going to be able to get him from the winner takes all, and of course currently as the headline champion. So I will be doing this because I want to have that 0.75% chance of getting Shredder. I think I'll be able to get the rest of the 5, so all 4 turtles plus April, which means I would only need Shredder in order to get that mythical relic. So I'm going to go for a very small chance, probably not worth my resources, but I want to do it. If you're in a position where you really want Shredder, it's worth an attempt, I think. But of course, you shouldn't be expecting to get him at all. Rio Bone Spear is in here because she empowers Shredder. Anyone else I would mind would be Artak. I skipped the Granic Doorkeep, so I wouldn't mind getting him. Grakos. These are all alright champions, but none of them are stellar. And of course, I would like Delaja because I'm missing her for my Mikage fusion. So overall, I think the summon pool is interesting. I would only really be going for it though if you wanted to get Shredder. The rest of the champions are just alright. Maybe Artak if you needed HP burns. But apart from that, I would probably be skipping this. I'm going to get the free one. But it's up to you. Make your own informed decision about whether you think it is worth it. And of course, I'm not giving you any advice on buying because I don't buy any of these from my account. So I think that covers the main 2 events so far. We got the Deck of Fate covered, Prism Pool covered, and of course, sorry, how could I forget the extra legendary event on Ancient Shards here. So I'm down to 202. I had to pull a bit for the Path event. I pulled 2 Sacreds, 16 Voids, and I think it was 12 Ancient Shards is what I had to pull to get the amount of points. I was happy to pull more Void Shards because I believe this weekend is going to be 2x Ancients for the summoning event. So I was trying to pull less Ancients just because I'd need them earlier. So I was happy to drain a bit of my Void Shards so I could build them back up again. Ancients I needed. But of course, 2x Legendary event, no boosted rates, but if you do pull a Legendary, you will get a second one for free. So I was thinking, I've got plenty, I should be fine to complete any event coming up that I want to do. So I'll pull an Ancient and see how we go here. Hoping for a Legendary, of course, not expected. What are we thinking? And it's a blue. No scripting here. Straight to the Reserve Vault. Not going to use him. Stout Axeman. Not even going to talk about him. That's what you should expect to happen. Don't expect to pull a Legendary, so don't go pulling 70 shards where you're nowhere near Mercy, because you're not going to get a Legendary. That's exactly what's going to happen, and I'll leave it. No point pulling anymore. I was just doing one for the camera, hoping I pulled that 0.5% chance, but unfortunately it didn't work out. But again, as I said, that's what you can expect. But I think that's all I wanted to cover. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And please feel free to leave as many comments as you want down below. Suggestions, queries, I'm all happy to listen. I'll respond to them as soon as I can. But thank you very much for tuning in and have a great rest of your day.